quick tutorial on how to create a volumetric light inside of Maya 2019. I have a simple scene here. I just brought in a little circular plane and a sphere. I'm going to bring in a light here in just a second, but I wanted to mention that the kind of atmosphere volumes that we're going to be creating, they only work with point, spot, and area lights, but they do not work with distant or sky lights. So they're not going to work with sky lights with an infinite distance, such as a sky dome light or a directional light. So keep that in mind. I'm going to go with a spotlight for this. So I'm going to go to my rendering tab here, and I'm just going to bring in a spotlight. And I'm going to position this so that it's kind of up above my sphere here. And let me rotate it into place. Give it a little bit of a direction, go to four-way view. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm just going to scale this light up a little bit so it kind of really falls through on it. And I'm going to bring it up just a little bit higher. There we go. Scale that puppy out. There we go. Perfect. All right, so one of the first things we're going to need to do, I'm using the Arnold renderer on this one, so obviously I'm going to have to really, ramp this light up on its intensity. I'll bring up the Arnold preview here, and we'll take a look at what it looks like. Yeah, it needs to come up a lot more than that. Let's give it like 33. Well, let's give it like maybe 87. Okay, cool. So now we have a lit up spot of light coming in, but obviously no visible light on the spot itself. So I'm to bring in the visibility, to bring in the atmosphere volume, I need to go to my render settings and the Arnold renderer tab. And then we are going to go ahead and go to environment. So unfold the environment tab, and in the atmosphere here, click on the checker box and create an AI atmosphere volume. Now as we do that, you'll see over here in my attributes, you can always come back here and click on this little black box to get it to come up. But now I have a density option that I can bring up, and as I raise that, check out what's happening in my render view. Suddenly I have a visible, let me drag this down a little bit just so we can kind of see it from its source. Now we have a nice volumetric light. You can even see the volumetrics in the shadow of the light, how it's kind of a little bit darker. And we can play around with that. And there's a lot of different settings you can go here. We can go density, obviously bring it up so high and it's a little too intense. You have the attenuation, which really kind of plays with that gradient within the light. You have anisotrope. I can't even pronounce it properly. Anistropy, I believe, which again kind of plays with the density as well as that gradient quality. And then the samples is going to like reduce noise in the light as well and give you a softer fog, but it's also going to increase render time, as you can see even in my preview that brought it up quite a bit. So there's more you can do inside of here, but it's a pretty easy setup to get that going. And like I said, if you ever need to come back, if you close this and you can't find that density setting because you click off of it and maybe go back to the light, you can always click back on your render settings and come into the Arnold tab and go down to atmosphere and click on the little black box with the arrow, and there's your density control again. So pretty easy to get started with. Really nice to create those kind of like beams of moonlight coming in a window or anything else you want to create. So have fun with it, play around a little bit, and yeah, pretty short and sweet. Thanks for tuning in.